Hey, alright team, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Wow, you would have guessed what this video is about by the title and most probably what's going on in the world. Myself and others are going to be talking about this, giving updates. Absolutely crazy. I never thought I'd actually be doing a video on this. We've been discussing it at work. Pretty much everyone's been discussing it no matter where you go, especially when you're in the military. People ask you what your thoughts are, and I genuinely didn't think it would come to this. This is huge. You know, the largest invasion since World War II. Russia, Putin, is not messing about. As you would all know, he's attacked Ukraine from the north, south and east. And this isn't just a small invasion. You know, he's been on the borders before. There's been a bit of back and forwards, whether it was actually Russia or not, you know. But this is a full-on large military invasion consisting of all services, all military assets. He's not just gone in with a few. There's reports of, you know, close to 200, if not more, 100,000 personnel have gone in. So that's troops on the ground, 200,000. Put that into perspective, the army's getting down to about 72, the British Army. Couple thousand tanks, couple thousand, I think there's about 600 artillery pieces. He's attacked by land, air and sea. So it's not like he's just gone in one place and he's gone, we're going to take a little bit of ground, we're going to take this city. He's trying to take it all, okay? This isn't no small invasion. There's reports of numerous of casualties, hundreds, maybe thousands of dead, injured. It's really bad. But we're going to look at, see what it's saying. We'll get some updates. I will try and update you as much as I can. I'll give you my thoughts in a second. But I genuinely didn't think it was actually going to come to this. You know, this is on the brink of World War III. He's saying, if any other countries get involved, watch out. You'll experience something that you've never experienced in the history before. So, you know, he's not just threatening Ukraine, he's threatening everyone. So let's just look at a few reports and then we'll go from there.
Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the largest invasion of a neighboring country in Europe since World War II. The Russian military attacking from the south, the north, the east, taking out military installations and moving closer tonight on strategic cities. This evening, the Pentagon believes they could be closing in on the capital of Kyiv. Pentagon officials saying the Russians want to surround the city and, quote, decapitate the government. Tonight, President Biden laying the deaths, the carnage at Putin's feet, telling the American people today and the world that Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, he said, and now he and his country will bear the consequences all day.
That's it, you take out a government, you know, the country have no leaders, okay, you'll have little small cells of groups of people fighting back, but people will be lost, they won't know what to do. So if he takes out them, then the country will fall, so they need to stand strong and they need to fight back.
Today, the wrenching images of war, Russian military vehicles and tanks rolling through a Ukrainian checkpoint from Belarus. Images circulating online showing what appear to be Russian helicopters.
So I mean, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 helicopters. I believe that's taken out a military airbase. That's 6 attack helicopters just in one location. The damage they can do is absolutely insane. So that's not small. That's rather large. It's just shocking.
Sweeping in during an assault on a military base about 20 miles outside the capital of Kyiv. Another concern tonight, Russian vehicles at Chernobyl nuclear site. The Russians are now in control of that nuclear plant, some 60 miles from Kyiv. Of course, the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster back in 1986, and where there are still vast amounts of dangerous nuclear waste entombed there.
Yeah, I've been seeing lots of reports of this. I don't know what they want with Chernobyl, but we definitely don't. You don't want to be fighting in and around that, because if that goes off again, that's another disaster. But look, once again, look at all these armoured personnel carriers. It's just insane what he's sent in. What's your thoughts? Why do you think he wants Chernobyl? You know, no one wants a nuclear war, do they? Or does he?
Despite Russian claims tonight, reports of some missiles striking civilian targets falling on this neighborhood near the capital. And
I know I'll keep pausing it, but can you imagine just being a civilian? You're at home now, you're in a flat or you're in your house, and the house opposite you or the block of flats just gets a missile put straight through the window or through the roof. It's just unthinkable, isn't it?
In Ukraine's second largest city tonight, Ukrainians now taking shelter in the subways in Kharkiv. Parents with their children huddling underground now for safety. Some asking, what does Putin want? Still unclear why this is all happening. The scene at bus and train stations tonight, the desperate attempt to get to safety, and world leaders are already warning tonight of a refugee crisis now looming. President Biden meeting today with his national security team and a virtual meeting with G7 leaders. The president then addressing the American people on Russian banks, the sanctions tonight, and moves to limit exports to Russia. The president saying our allies are in full support of these new sanctions. Moments ago here, I spoke with Secretary of State Blinken. I asked him why not sanction Vladimir Putin himself? And what are they seeing right now around Kyiv? Does the Biden administration tonight believe the capital will fall in the next 24 hours? But we're going to begin tonight with our senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell on the ground in Kyiv again tonight.
Tonight,
Jeez.
Russia unleashing a brutal military assault on Ukraine.
This isn't small,
This
look.
vast nation from the north, south and east. The attacks seen in videos posted online from inside Ukraine. After bitter fighting, Russian forces now reportedly in control of Chernobyl, the destroyed nuclear plant just 60 miles from the capital Kyiv. US military sources say they believe the Russians are driving on Kyiv to surround and, quote, decapitate the government
Look
there.
at that.
We saw
Fast
fighter
there.
jets flying over the city this morning as emergency air raid sirens wailed. A large number of Russian helicopters seen on social media posts attacking a military base less than 20 miles from the center of the capital, triggering a pitched battle. The Russians launching over 160 ballistic missiles and rockets on military installations across Ukraine,
Hundreds.
but also reportedly hitting some civilian targets. Here, an enormous unexploded rocket's lodged in the ceiling of an apartment building in Kharkiv, close to the Russian border. And here, a jet missile wedged into a damaged road. Intense fightings reported around Kharkiv, and thousands have been forced to shelter in the subways.
This is literally, honestly, this is World War II all over again. You know, this is the start. People hiding in tube station like they used to do in London. Bombs and missiles. They didn't have missiles really back then, did they? It was bombs dropping down from the bombers coming over the top of the UK and all the other countries in Europe. The amount of armoured personnel carriers he sent in. Those explosions, you saw there. He's used GPS guided missiles. He's mostly got some 500 pounders going off, maybe some bigger ones by the fast air jets. Like, this isn't small. This is huge. And he's not like he's just done a couple. 160 attacks. He's attacked from north, south, and east. Yeah, he definitely wants to take the country as quick as possible. The quicker he can cripple it, the less casualties he's going to have, and then the faster he moves in, less. You know, it's just absolutely insane. But let's continue watching.
Bombs of Russian tanks and armoured vehicles are reported to be still pouring across the Ukrainian border tonight.
Look how many are there.
Swarms of helicopters flying in low over the countryside, creating panic and terror for the people living there. Even so, military sources say less than half of Russia's 150,000 troops have entered the country. But they're now facing off against a Ukrainian army of 250,000, but that's less sophisticated and powerful.
That's it. Ukrainian army just haven't got the kit and equipment that the Russians have. Feel for them.
Europe hasn't seen an invasion of this size since World War II. Martial law's been declared across the country, and all men of fighting age and reservists are being mobilised. The capital's now under curfew, and like other major cities, roads were jammed today, with people trying to flee from the onslaught. There've been massive lines at gas stations, and residents desperate for cash are lining up for hours at ATMs. Three friends, all from Donbass in eastern Ukraine, in Maidan Square, where Ukraine turned its back on Russia in its 2014 revolution, showing support for their country.
We are not afraid. We are ready to defend our country.
Marichka Podolko is a morning news anchor in Ukraine. Tonight, her husband's at war and her children hiding in safety in the West.
I think that's the worst scenario that we could expect. I never expected it to be so bad, but I never expected Ukraine to be so calm and strong.
Шановні громадяни України.
Ukraine's President Zelensky trying to rally his country tonight, but acknowledging their losses. Officials say at least 40 Ukrainian service members have been killed, as well as dozens of civilians. Zelensky saying the fiercest fighting is in the south, where Russians are advancing from Crimea, adding that some Russian soldiers have been captured.
Oh, really?
Around the world, the Russian
Look at
offensive
that.
is being condemned. The Pentagon tonight saying it'll now deploy 7,000 more US troops to Europe. President Biden met with his national security team this morning and said the world will hold Russia accountable.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
But Biden didn't sanction Putin himself, choosing instead new penalties on 4 more Russian banks and some of the country's elite.
7,000 more troops. It's good that they're supporting, but once again, if you think about it, they reckon they've got 150 to 180,000, maybe more. Only half have entered the country, so let's just say 75,000 Russian troops have entered the country. Ukraine's nowhere near got the kit and equipment Russia has. 7,000 troops isn't much. You think in Afghan, the UK, it's high. It must be at around 10,000 troops in Afghan. That's it. This is the size of the invasion that Putin's done.
Putin's claimed he has no intention of occupying Ukraine and warned other countries not to interfere, threatening retaliation the likes of which, quote, you've never experienced in your history. But tonight, as Russian forces try to push deeper into the heart of the country, the question is how far will Putin go and how long can the Ukrainians hold out?
And so let's bring in Ian Pannell from the Ukrainian capital again with us tonight. And Ian, I want to get to the news breaking as we're on the air tonight. President Zelensky speaking this evening, saying that Putin has made him a target. And what do we know about this ongoing battle outside Kyiv tonight?
So we just see what's else out there. What other videos, what's going on, just have a check, and then we'll go on from there.
Until early this morning, some here in Kiev doubted that he would do it. Not anymore. The West warned Vladimir Putin was about to attack. He said he had no such plans. That fiction now utterly exposed. Explosions right across this vast country.
Look at that, jeez. Like just walking down the street and just seeing a missile coming through the air and striking. Mental.
In Ivano-Frankivsk, in the far southwest, a missile struck an airport. Unverified images from Ukraine's northern and southern borders seem to show columns of Russian armour entering from Belarus and Crimea.
Hundreds
Within
of
hours,
vehicles.
Russian tanks were reported to be on the streets of Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. Whatever Russia says, this attack will not be surgical. To the east of Kharkiv, emergency workers battle to control fires in residential buildings hit by rockets. The number of civilian casualties is rising. At Mariupol in the south, another airport on fire. This country's civilian infrastructure is being heavily struck. There are no more flights in or out. A glance at the map shows a country under attack from east to west, north to south. Earlier, a snarling Russian leader said this was all in self-defense and warned Ukrainians to lay down their arms.
We will strive for the demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine. Russia cannot feel safe, develop and exist with a constant threat emanating from the territory of modern Ukraine.
In Kiev, Ukraine's embattled president, who must now fear for his job, appealed to the world.
Putin started a war against Ukraine, against the whole democratic world. He wants to destroy my country. He wants to destroy our country, everything we have been building, what we live for.
So far, all the signs are that this attack is working out exactly the way Western leaders have been warning for weeks. The country is being attacked from all directions, and the fear now has to be that some of those Russian troops are heading here to the capital.
So he's saying it's in self-defense. What's everyone's thoughts on that? You're going up against a country that's got a far less sophisticated military, nowhere near got the troops, the training, the equipment. You know, from what it looks like, it's because, you know, Ukraine becoming part of NATO. He obviously doesn't want that. But, you know, I don't think anyone's really threatened Russia. I don't see where the self-defense is coming from in this. You know, you think we would learn from history? World War One, then World War Two. The Soviet Union got hit hard, and they really suffered in that. And now look at this. This happens. Just absolutely insane. I'm in shock. But there's some clips from today. We will do some more. I'll keep you updated. Comment below with what your thoughts are. My thoughts go out to the people of Ukraine. Hopefully it does start to calm down and it doesn't get worse. Hopefully there is a way around this. We will see. But yeah, that's the situation of where it is at now. I'm sure you've all seen it over social media anyway. I genuinely didn't think it was going to come to this. I hope it obviously doesn't escalate any further than this, but we will have to just obviously keep an eye out and see what happens. But yeah, you know, we don't want to send troops on the ground, do we? But then he needs to be held accountable. So we will see. But yeah, it's shocking. Can you imagine? Yeah, like they did back in World War II, just bombs going off, having to run in the tubes. Obviously for us now, we just can't imagine it. What they're going through right now, a full military invasion. Okay, this isn't nothing small. This is thousands and thousands of troops, thousands of vehicles, missiles, attacks going into a neighbouring country. Yeah, let's just see what happens, and I'll keep you updated.